Hello again, Ben's channel. I'm back again for another video about Liverpool again, and I'm going to run through my squad prediction, my score prediction, and my thoughts on whether we should go for the cup or not. Starting with my squad prediction, it's largely the same as last time, so I'm just going to run through it really quick. Goalkeeper, De Gea, sort of have to. I'd like to see Henderson play. I would love it. I think he's a very strong keeper, but De Gea is sort of probably going to be used. Left back Luke Shaw, then centre backs Bailly and Maguire, right back Aaron Wan-Bissaka, two CDMs Van der Beek and Matic, left mid Rashford, Cam Bruno, right mid Greenwood, and up top Martial. It's a pretty simple formation. We've used it before. The two CDMs and the attacking cam is very common, and I just think Bruno, there's nobody like him. He's going to be in the team. He's a great goal scorer. We're against Liverpool, really strong side. If we have that good attacking force up top, the sort of four main attackers, I think it's going to be really good. And with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, especially on the right-hand side, being such a pacey right back, he really pushes up and can really help Greenwood, and I think Greenwood sort of doesn't need the help, but he'll really use Aaron Wan-Bissaka to his advantage. Score-wise, I'm hoping it's going to be a good match to watch, because a lot of matches we've had recently have sort of been like 1-0 or 1-1, and they can get a bit boring sometimes. Like, the play is good, but it just seems to be slow. I'm not sure if it's just the nature of the fact we're in winter. Then, of course, it snowed today in the UK, so I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Man United. I think Liverpool are going to get the first goal, and they're going to get very overconfident, like they usually do. Sometimes Liverpool can hold on to that overconfidence and run with it and make it their own, but I think they're going to flop it, and I think Man United are kind of come through, see the weaknesses after the first goal, and they're going to bang two in the back of the net, one in the end of the first half and one in the start of the second half, and the rest of the second half is going to be boring. It's going to be intense because, of course, they could always bring it back and get a draw, but we all know that it's just going to be a snooze fest ultimately. Whether I think we should go for the cup. See, that's a difficult one, because I really believe that if we went for it, we could win it. If we knock out Liverpool now, I think that's one of the best chances we'll get, and I think we should run with that, and I think we should go for it. I think just in case we don't win the Premier League, I have full faith that we will, especially after sort of recent events. But I think if we go for the cup anyway, if we don't use the very best players, but we use the sort of middle ones. So like last year, we just slung in sort of, here, have a young and here and a young and there, and they perform really well. I think we should find the best of the sort of academy and bring them forward. Like Greenwood, he has turned out to be an absolutely amazing player from somebody that's bought from the academy. I think if we do more of that, if we develop our team, I think we could win the cup and the league. It could be a two. We could have two in the same year. And then Solskjaer, sort of as a manager, I think he needs that to push everybody's belief in him, because sort of last year was mixed receptions for the start of his thing. We're like, well, he's one of us, so we have to support him. And then it went to, it doesn't really matter, he's just a manager at the end of the day. And then we always blame Ed Woodward, we always blame the backing, but got to remember that at the end of the day, Solskjaer, he wants to prove himself, and I think if we went for the cup and the league, then he'll be proving himself anyway, because then if we don't win one, we've won the other. Or if we don't win either, but we pushed really hard and we got to finals, or we got to within a really close range, I think everybody will be satisfied with that. Because although we should be a top title contending club, let's look at our previous years. Have we been as close as we have been? Imagine we come second in the league and we make it to the final of the FA Cup. Even if we don't win, then it's still a really good achievement, because that means we're the top two in the FA Cup and the top two in the Premier League. That's a boost from what we've had in the previous years. So I think it's a good idea. I think we should go for it. I think we should play some good players, but I think we should mix in some new players as well, because if we can develop those young people, those young, fresh-bodied, young-minded people, and bring them up to the first team eventually, it may take a couple of years, but if we say we're in the cup next year, if we bring them on then and we have them do well, if they win, they're going to be up here. Like, we can push the spirits of the whole team by winning something this year. So I think the cup is vital. We need to go for it just in case, because I think the spirits need to be lifted and everybody needs to feel better. Right, that's it for my segment. I'll hand you back to Ben.
Right then, we are back again with another preview and against Liverpool. This time in the FA Cup, and as you can see from this, I'm going with Rotation City. Quite a few different changes. To be fair, let me just quickly change because I have changed my mind with that one. I've gone for a 4-1-2-1-2, or the 4-4-2 diamond, however you want to look at it. It's how we did it against them last time out, so I reckon we're going to go for the same again. And we've definitely got enough there to beat them. It's not going to be... We're not going to play the same way we did last time, because, as you can see, I've got the main man Edinson Cavani up there, so we won't be playing the same style, because I don't think Rashford will be the lone striker this time. So it's going to be interesting to see how we play differently. I'm not sure... Well, it depends on how serious Liverpool take it, because we could literally just sit back like we did against them last time, hit them on a counter. Or if they don't take it as seriously and play a rotated weakened squad, like their cup teams they've been using recently, we can literally play the way we want to play against a weakened Liverpool team that even with their strongest team aren't in great form recently. So it's the case of, you know what, we can actually play our game if we want to, and we definitely have the players on the pitch to do it. I've gone for Dean Henderson in goal. He seems to be playing most cup games. I don't feel like it'll be any different. We have in the past switched him out for De Gea, but that has proven costly, like it did against Chelsea last season. So hopefully he can keep his place in goal ready for the future when he's going to be our mainstay. He's going to be our main goalkeeper. One for Wan-Bissaka, staying at right back. And you could argue maybe bringing him out and playing Axel there instead, because Wan-Bissaka really hasn't got a competitor in terms of right back position. He's the only out-and-out right back we have at the club. We've got Brandon Williams, but he is currently out injured. We've got Diogo Dalot, who is loan against for AC Milan. We haven't really got a right back. The only other option we have is, as I said, calling Dalot back from loan, or even calling back Ethan Laird, who's on loan at... I think it's MK Dons, who recently picked up an assist the other day, which was quite a decent run, decent ball in. And then the centre-back pairing it's the exact same pairing we did against them last time, of Maguire and Lindelof. You can argue Bailly, because if we are going to try and look to play our game, play a higher line, Bailly would work a lot better. But it just depends on how we want to play it, to be fair. But Lindelof was very solid at Liverpool, and Ollie got a lot of criticism, and I was probably part of that as well, in not being too happy with Lindelof being chosen over Bailly. But he had an incredible game. Maguire, don't really talk much about him. He's the skipper. He's going to play every game possible, and he's performed pretty well recently. We've got Alex Telles, who hasn't been getting the games recently. It could be because Luke Shaw's been in incredible form. It could be because he had COVID, and we don't really know the long-term effects of COVID on athletes recently. We've seen the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes come back, and he wasn't great scoring an own goal the other day to knock Arsenal out. We've seen quite a few different players. We've seen Pogba, who had it. He didn't really come back to full fitness until recently, so that took a couple of weeks to sort that one out, a couple of months to be fair. So we're not really sure on the long-term effects. We've got Nemanja Matic sitting in front of them just to do the screening in midfield. It just allows us to transition that a little bit quicker. He can sit back, allow our fullbacks to push forwards with the likes of Telles, who's a very attacking wing back. Matic can slot in there and literally allow our front five, which I've chosen here, to just stay on broke about attacking. Because when you have the likes of a McTominay or a Fred, at times they can get caught out of position, or they can be a bit too eager to win the ball back, and it just means that you can bypass them quite easily at times. I've got Paul Pogba and Donny van de Beek. Paul Pogba been on very good form recently, looking to continue that one on. Donny van de Beek, who people have been saying is the forgotten man, but he definitely came into this team knowing he wasn't going to play as often as he'd want to. He's coming in a similar position to the likes of a Matic, a Pogba, a Bruno, and he isn't as high up in the pecking order as they are. He has looked good when he's played, so hopefully this is his chance to get a good outing. This is the type of game that he would have wanted to come in for, a game at Old Trafford against Liverpool in a cup game. That's the type of thing that you want to move to a big club for. I've got Bruno Fernandes, who there's been this whole talk about him not performing in the big games. We've seen him do it previously, so let's not really go into too much detail about that. We've seen, if you want to talk about the big six, you can talk about the likes of Leicester are now in there where he has scored. You can talk about the likes of Everton, who are now challenging. He scored, 3 goals in 2 games against them. So he's definitely doing the business. Just the thing is, though, when you play against a big team, people say he hasn't quite been doing it. It's because you're playing against better teams. Of course you're not going to have as good a record. Nobody has as good a record against the Big Six as they do against the not Big Six. Because they're better at dealing with them. And I've got a front two of Marcus Rashford and Edinson Cavani. Edinson Cavani, I think, will be perfect for this game. Liverpool are going to have an inexperienced backline in terms of playing together and the centre-back cohesion, because it looks like it's probably going to be Matip and Fabinho. Matip come back will be a big bonus for them. But Fabinho and Matip haven't played together too often, so their understanding of each other's game won't quite be there yet. So I think an elite striker, a person that is incredible with his movement, getting in behind, making a bad pass a good pass. Edinson Cavani will be perfect, and he can play off the fact that they're not quite together yet. Marcus Rashford, he was rested for the majority of the game against Fulham, so I have a feeling he's going to come back to start ready to have full fitness, full momentum, and he's just going to love to score against Liverpool, won't he? Alright, let's go ahead and say this is a shocking pen, okay. Man United against Liverpool. I'm going to go ahead, be a bit giddy. Let's say 2-0 win to Manchester United. Liverpool haven't been free scoring as they have previously. They haven't scored in the league this year. They haven't won in the league since Christmas. This is the FA Cup, so the league won't quite carry over, but the fact that they have just lost their record at Anfield, they haven't been doing too well recently. We're one of the most informed teams. They're one of the most out of form teams. That being said, when you're playing against Manchester United, when you're playing for Liverpool, the form goes out the window and you just want to win. You've seen times in the past that Manchester United have been the best team in the world, best team in the country, and Liverpool have come and beaten us. We're at that time where we didn't lose a single game at Old Trafford until we played them, where we then lost 4-1 to them in a very convincing win, where we then won the league anyway. Manchester United versus Liverpool is one where it doesn't matter how good the team is, doesn't matter the form, it's always going to be an even, very close game. And I don't feel it's going to be any different. Talking about our bench, we could see the likes of De Gea stay in there, we could see Luke Shaw stay in there because he has had some very good games recently. We could even see if he wants to give Bruno a rest, because if he has played looks to the media and seen that people aren't a fan of him in big games, we could see Juan Mata pulling the strings, we could see, Pogba come out and have Fred play there for a bit more energy. We could see Mason play instead of Marcus. We could see Martial play instead of Eddie. We could see, even if we wanted to, the usual 4-2-3-1. So if we bring it back like this, bring in Mata, we could see that. We could see Dan James playing, utilising the counter-attack, using his pace to get in behind, because we did see it quite often. That we did get in some decent positions, we just got caught offside just a bit too often. Dan James' pace can utilise that. He can make his runs that a little bit later, and he can rely on his pace, and hopefully a bit more end product is needed, but he could be a big factor if he was to start, so don't be surprised if he does. Anyway, let's go into first goal scorer. I have predicted a 2-0, and I'm going to say the big game player himself, Marcus Rashford, to do it. Love Marcus. He loves playing at Liverpool. We've seen so many clips recently of his 2 goals at Anfield. It was Old Trafford against Trent Alexander-Arnold. The one where the ball goes over to him, brings it down, chops inside and finishes it in the far corner. Love Marcus. He loves a big game. And finally, man of the match. I'm going to go for an outside shout here. I'm going to go for Maguire. Big old Harry, the captain. I feel like it's going to be a big performance from him. Needs to marshal the back line perfectly. And I have an outside shout that he could score from a corner today. An Alex Telles whipped in corner. I feel like if Harry Maguire can get his head on it. He seems to win a lot of headers, just can't quite get them on target. But this is the type of one where you'd want to see him improve that. And don't be surprised if he does. Looking now into Liverpool. They haven't been on great form. I've already mentioned the fact they did lose their 100% unbeaten win record at Anfield in the league. I think it was like 3.5 years they haven't lost in 68 games, and they lost it to Burnley. and they haven't won this year in the league. They've won once in all competitions against Aston Villa's under 12s, when they won 4-1 and they needed to bring on Thiago to change the game. If they play a rotation team, if they play their cup team they did against Aston Villa, this, or what I predicted anyway, is more than enough to do it. Liverpool aren't the same team they were last season. They're not as relentless. They're not that team that you worry about with 10 minutes to go, that they're just going to keep coming at you, and eventually score. They're not quite at it this season. Whether that's the fact that they're deflated because Van Dijk's injured, whether the fact that they've had to change formation, they've had to change their style of play, they've had to bring Fabinho and Henderson back into the back line, I'm not sure. They're not the same team they were, and let's not treat them like it. I feel like we gave them a lot of respect, and to be fair, we did have the better chances in the league game. We gave them too much respect in terms of their form and in terms of their league position currently. If we go out there and we go, you know what, we're top of the table, we should play that with the big dogs. We are the big dogs. Let's play our way and make them cope with us instead of the other way around. If we were to do that, I have a feeling we can go through. Get us into the 5th round, one away from the quarterfinals, where I think we will have West Ham. Good chance to go through on that one. Get us into the quarterfinals. Get us the chance to win a cup. But that being said, if we were to go out, I wouldn't be too disappointed. We are currently league leaders. Man City played a game less. If they were to win, they'd go ahead. They've got some tricky fixtures, so have we. If we were to rotate and we were to lose, I wouldn't be too bothered. I was more nervous in the league game because we can't afford to drop points. If we were to go out here and focus on the league, it wouldn't be the end of the world. A cup would be massive, but we've seen under Louis van Gaal, a cup isn't enough to save your job with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He isn't in any danger at the moment, but he has got that thing looming over him of 4 semi-finals, 4 defeats. He hasn't won a cup yet in the 2.5 years he's been here, or 2 years he's been here. Hopefully he can change that. But like I said, we're pushing on for the league. I'd much rather us just ignore this cup and we go for the league and come first or second. I'd much rather that, show progression there, than if we go all out in the cup, we end up getting a few injuries and we struggle in the league and we drop down to like 4th. Let's see how it goes. Let's do them. Let's do it. Come on, lads.